Welcome to the Insider's edition of Chrome. In today's episode, we're going to talk about Chrome's default save location, and yes, sometimes you just might want to change it. When using Chrome on a Windows, a Mac, or even different Chrome devices, the one thing they all have in common, assuming you haven't previously altered anything, is that when you click to download a file, they will save that file to a folder called Downloads. So just what are some of the key points to remember about this download location? And does the device we're using affect how we should think about where we're saving the file? Let's take a closer look. The first and perhaps most critical thing to remember about downloading files: no confidential files should ever be stored for later access or transported on an unencrypted device in the event it gets lost or stolen. Right about now, you're likely thinking, what's this guy talking about? Unencrypted and encrypted. Well, it should be enough to know that pretty much all devices like computers, USB keys, or a host of other devices are unencrypted by default and are easy for would-be thieves to access any data on them. Unless you know otherwise, you should assume your portable device is unencrypted. With that said, the only exception would be Chrome devices. By default, they are secure encrypted devices. So now, let's look at the Downloads folder on several devices we have available at work. 1. Desktop computers. The download folder is available on other computers. The folder is secure. No access to those files off-site. Due to limited storage space, the user should look for an alternate place to store their downloaded files if they need to retain them. 2. Shared laptops with a single logon such as SSDZ devices should be considered unsecure. The user needs to be aware of what they do, since other users of the device will have access to any file saved locally. Local files saved on the device are not backed up. 3. Chrome devices are secure, limited storage space. Any user can remove another user's profile and thereby cause the loss of any locally saved files. Local folders are not backed up. Who would have thought that there could be so many decisions when changing the Downloads folder? Things like, what am I downloading? Where am I saving it? Are there any security concerns? And even what device I'm using, all play a factor. Let's now look at how we can change the download location in Chrome. We start by going to the 3 dots in the upper right hand corner. Select it, scroll down to Settings. Scroll to the very bottom, select Show Advanced Settings. Continue scrolling until you find a subheading called Downloads. While you may change the permanent download location here, we don't recommend it. Selecting the Ask Where to Save each file before downloading will give you the greatest flexibility in organizing where to save any files. Let's see how this works. Here I am in my Google Drive. I found a file I wish to download to my USB device, which is already inserted. I select the file, I right click, I choose Download. I am now presented with a dialog box as into where I want to save the file. As we can see, currently it is saving to the Downloads folder on the computer. I wish to save it to my USB. I select it and choose Save. The same setting applies to Gmail. If I open my mail, I can see there was an email that came in with an attachment. If I select it and choose Download, once again I'm presented, where would I like to save my file? Because the last destination I chose was my USB device, it goes back to that same location. I hope you found this episode of Insider's edition of Chrome to be informative.